given a line through h by k with a slope equal to s, what equation unites x by y on the line? So given this point and the slope, what's the equation? I already have the equation, slope equals s. There it is. The slope is a change in y, y minus k, over change in x, x minus h here. So y minus k over x minus h equals s. Transpose the x minus h and get y minus k equals s times x minus h. I like to get y by itself, so you add k to both sides and you can get this equation. Y equals s times x minus h, that plus k. This is the point slope formula. Now the book has it in a different, writes the same formula in a different way. They have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. M is the slope, x1 by y1 is the point. I don't really like this way of phrasing the formula. For one thing, like I say, m is a mysterious letter to use for slope. And x1 by y1, they look too much like variables rather than the parameters they are. And also, it doesn't really give you y. You have to transpose the y and do a little more algebra after that. We still have to do a bit of algebra for this one. You got to distribute the s and combine the constants. But I prefer this version. But it's up to you, your choice. Let's see, 362. Find the equation of the line through 3 by 5 with slope equal to 2. Okay, to repeat, the equation is y equals s times x minus h plus k. S is 2, there it is. H by k, 3 by 5. Put a 3 here and a 5 here. 2 times x minus 3 plus 5. Now, all right, distributing the 2, you get 2x minus 6 plus 5. And minus 6 plus 5 is minus 1. So the equation is y equals 2x minus 1. Here we have an equation of a line through 5 by 5 and 7 by 5. All right, the slope is change in y, 5 minus 5, or change in x, 5 minus 7. And that's 0 over negative 2, which is 0. Zero slope, therefore a horizontal line. So, and taking it to, say, 5 by 5, y equals 0 times x minus 5, all that plus 5. 0 times x minus 5 cancels out, and get the equation y equals 5. That makes sense. Y is 5 here, and it's a constant. Here we have the equation of the line through 5 by 1 and negative 5 by 0. All right, slope is 1 minus 0 over 5 minus negative 5. 1 minus 0 over 5 minus negative 5. That's a slope of 1/10. And using, let's say, this equation, this point here, 5 by 1, you'll get y equals 1/10 of x minus 5, all that plus 1. After a bit of calculation, you get that y equals 1/10 of x plus 1/2. Now that's if we use this point here. If we use this point here, negative 5 by 0, you would get, or should get, the same result. In fact, the next one, on the next slide, you'll see that.
So mainly we just using distributive property?
Yeah. Oh, here's a cute one. Find the equation of a line through negative 8 by 2 and negative 8 by 17. All right, change the slope. Change in y is 2 minus 17 over change in x, negative 8 minus negative 8. Uh-oh. Negative 8 minus negative 8 is 0. You get negative 15 over 0, which is infinite. And as I said, if you try and put infinity for a slope in y equals s times x minus h plus b, infinity just messes everything up. But that's all right. It's all right. Infinite slope means a vertical line, which corresponds to x equals constant. And the constant, as you can see here, is negative 8. So the equation is y equals negative 8. All right. Here's a couple of fairly routine ones. Find a line through 4 by negative 3 with a slope of negative 7/8. Let's see, negative 7/8 times x minus 4, that plus negative 3. After some calculating, you get y equals negative 7/8 x plus 1/2. Oh, one thing, a typographical issue. Lots of times people write something like this, and somehow the x winds up in the denominator. Please don't do that. Try and make it, I mean, this is a little bit clumsy. Perhaps I should put a negative 7/8 in parentheses, whatever. Okay, line through for number 61, find the line through 2 by 20 with a slope of 8. Y equals 8, that's the slope, times x minus 2, that's an 8. All that plus 20. And yes, distribute the 8. Get 8x. 8 times negative 2 is minus 16, and minus 16 plus 20 is 4. So y equals 8x plus 4. Here we have a line through negative 2 by negative 1 and negative 1 by negative 5. Now here we have 2 points. So, okay, it's easy enough to find the slope, but you'll have 2 choices as to which point it goes through. You'll see that it comes to the same result. So it doesn't matter which one you do, as long as you choose one of them. Okay, slope. Change in y, negative 1 minus negative 5, divided by change in x, negative 2 minus negative 1 here. That comes out to 4 over negative 1, or negative 4. It's the slope of negative 4. Now, slope of negative 4 and through negative 2 by negative 1, that gets you an equation. Slope of negative 4 and through negative 1 by negative 5, that gets you an equation. Let's see what happens. Y equals negative 4 times x minus negative 2, that plus a negative 1. If you work it out, that comes out to minus 4x minus 9. Now I have a slope of negative 4 here, but it's through negative 1 by negative 5. You get y equals negative 4 times x minus negative 1 plus a negative 5. And if you work that out, you also get y equals negative 4x minus 9. So it's the same result either way. I call that taxi cab space, by the way. Like a taxi cab, it goes from here to here. It could go down a street, then up an avenue, or up an avenue and down a street, or a zigzag path, or round and round and round at random until it finally gets to the last spot. I've seen people do all versions of all three. First one then the other, first the other then the one, then a zigzag, and then a circling around for ages. Find a line through 7 by 0 and 0 by negative 2. Slope is 0 minus negative 2 over 7 minus 0. That's the slope of 2/7. Now, all right. If we use this point, 0 by negative 2, then y equals slope 2/7 times x minus 0 plus a negative 2. X minus 0 just cancels to x, and this becomes a minus 2. So you get 2/7 x minus 2. That was using the 0 by negative 2. If you use the 7 by 0, again, you would have gotten the same result. Well, we're done with this.